this point, I don't even care about your feelings. I just care about my entertainment. And since you don't know what to do, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And I'm going to choose what I want to see on my TV screen. So at this point, whoop-de-doo. Hey y'all, it's your girl Pretty Lynn, and this is Pretty Lynn Sovereignty. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, King or Queen. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, King or Queen. Today we are going to get into Love Island Season 8, Episode 7. Child, what's the reality TV? Okay? Because we got some things to discuss about this episode. Okay? Before we move forward, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This is a newer channel. We are trying to get up off the ground, so like please help with the algorithm so that they can push my video out. I do apologize in advance. I am so tired. But I'm never too tired for you guys, okay? We're gonna get into this review. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, share your opinions with me. I'm talking to y'all. If y'all want to talk back to me, please do. I respond. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. I respond. I'll respond. But yeah, let's get into this review. All right. So the episode starts off with, of course, they just finished the sleepover challenge. And it was messy. There was a lot of mixed emotion, mixed feelings. The men were really upset this episode, which I don't blame them all the way. I don't. Okay, I can see both sides. Okay, it can go either way. I can see both sides of their frustration for sure. And then off rip, Bryce is like, "Oh, I know the blonde. I know the blonde." And Trinity's like, "He knows her. Like, does he know her? You know what I'm saying?" So we start off with that, and then instantly it pans over to Mel because, of course, the guys, especially Sincere, was saying that Mel was doing way too much, which I agree. She was doing a lot. Like she was, and I was just like, "Ain't no way, ain't no way." But apparently, the ladies were saying that she was hyping up Kenzie. That's why she was doing all that because she knew that that was Kenzie's type. How do y'all feel about it? Do y'all think she was really hyping up Kenzie, or do y'all think she was really purposely trying to embarrass Sincere again? What y'all think? Let me know. Please talk back to me, please. After that, pretty much Bryce explains that him and Jen, they did some, modeling photo shoots together. That's how they met each other, but there's like, no chemistry between them or anything like that. But she's a pretty chill girl, yada yada. And then one of the first things I noticed, Caleb was 21. Why is this baby here? 21. Anyways, he looked like he's 21 in the face. He looked like a little baby. So I was like, you know what? Have your fun, little boy. Have your fun. And then, the ladies, they're sitting with Caleb, getting to know him, interrogating him. Whereas Soul and Jen, they're sitting with the men, and the men are, interrogating them, getting to know them. One thing I noticed while the ladies were talking to Caleb, Kenzie she just couldn't contain herself. And I'm just like, girl, control it. Calm down, control it, control it, control it, control it. And then, as Sincere was talking to, Soul and them, they were asking like the guys like if they were open and stuff, and Sincere was like, "Yeah, I'm open, I'm open." I'm like, "Sincere, are you really open, or are you just mad at Mel and you're just trying to do your get back?" Anywho, and then here comes Caleb. He comes to where the guys are, and he asked to speak to the other bombshells. So all three of them, they go upstairs, and they pretty much have a little chatty chat. And Caleb asked them what their top three were. He asked Soul. I don't know if he asked Jen at all. She kind of seems like a non-factor. She's boring to me, Jen, personally. But so it was like her top three are Corbin, Casey, and Sincere. Are we surprised? No. Um, and then Anaya, she just seemed like she was just hot and bothered. She was just clearly flustered and upset for whatever reason, and saying that she was pissed because she didn't understand why Casey had all of that red paint on him, and clearly he was doing the most, yada yada. And I was just like, anywho. And then one thing I noticed for sure was Sincere is finally waking up, and it was just like, look, like I feel disrespected. She did all of that playing in my face. Clearly, she knew that that was Corbin, and she knew it was me, and she was going back and forth playing, trying to be funny about it when it's not funny. It's disrespectful, which it was disrespectful. And again, I still don't know if I believe that she didn't know that that was Corbin. Regardless, you had to know that that was Sincere, so you still were fine with playing in his face. Point blank period, which is not right at all. And then one thing I'll put down is one thing about Bea, she won't talk about that leg. Nobody else brings up that leg. It may be running through their mind. They may have questions in their head. But she is the only one that is talking about that leg. Her and the audience are gonna bring up that leg. But nobody else in the villa talks about it. So hey girl, if you wanna bully yourself, by all means go for it. And then it's crazy how Gabriel was telling the guys, like, like if I'm gonna be in here, I'm gonna go after, what I really want, this and that. So you don't really want Bea then. So why don't you tell her that you don't really want her? I don't trust that. Never did. Never did. Just don't trust that man. And then, next thing you know, we see that Trinity and Bea, they both take the bombshells and they decide to give them a tour of the villa. And Bryce immediately, it's like he gets turned on. Like I was like, Bryce is like, I love Trinity. I love her vibe. Like, even though she knows that, I have history, or not history, but I know, the blonde girl, she's still like, having good energy with her, showing her around the villa, this, that, and the third. Like, I just love her vibe so much. I love the type of person that she is. I'm like, is Bryce really falling in love with her? At first, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't buying their dynamic. But this episode, I might give a little dollar towards it. I might give $1 towards it. That's it though. Only $1. Only $1. I'm just like, might be growing on me a little bit. But we gonna see. We're still early. It's still episode 7. We just completed week 1. So I'm like, it's still early, but we are going to see. Okay. And then Bea and Trinity are walking around with the girlies. They're, talking to them, getting to know them. And Bea was mentioned that she doesn't have a lot of female friends. I can tell. And I'm going to leave that at that. I can tell. Anywho, then Sincere had a talk with Melanie and expressed that he felt disrespected, didn't like how she was moving, yada yada yada. Melanie was very apologetic. She kept saying again that she did not know that that was Corbin, and she does apologize for doing too much, and if he feels like she disrespected him, that was not her intention, yada yada yada. I don't know. I just don't know how she didn't know that that was Corbin. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe they need to blindfold me and I need to go do it myself. And then, heck no, I ain't doing that crap. I am dang near a married woman. I ain't doing that crap. But I just, I don't know if I'm buying that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying that. But it seemed like he was standing on business with her. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then Corbin and Kenzie, gosh, they go to the dock and they talk, and Corbin just trying to make sure that his fine-ish is still his fine-ish. And he's just buttering her up, talking about something he's not interested in the bombshells, and he wants her to stand a third. He feels solid in their connection, yada yada. And Kenzie, she's just sitting there with the blank face. One thing about Kenzie, her poker face is horrible. You will know how she feels by looking at her face. She doesn't have to open her mouth. Just look at her face. You can just tell. You can just tell. And I'm just like, Corbin, you might be in for a rude awakening, and I can't wait for it. So the conversation that Anaya and Casey had on the dock, she was pretty much explaining to him while she's crying that she didn't like how he was doing too much. You know, every time a bombshell came in, she, was being respectful, but she doesn't appreciate how he was acting and how his arm was out and over the bombshell to stand a third and how he was being disrespectful. He was laughing, yada yada. Granted, I personally don't see what all that Casey did that was wrong. If I'm being honest, um, his arm was that like, are you talking about when during the challenge with the handcuffs, like his arm was automatically up there? So like, what did you expect? And then talking about something he has red all over him. Yeah, because if the girl is touching him and is putting it all over him, what is he supposed to do if he's handcuffed? Like, what is he supposed to do? I just feel like Anaya, this episode wasn't her best. Clearly, she was very emotional. I did like the way Casey handled the situation. I feel like it was a very mature conversation. He reassured her. Um, you know, he reassured her and he comforted her. He didn't make her feel like, she wasn't hurt or anything like that. So I do appreciate that. I love Casey for Anaya, but I don't know if I love Anaya for Casey just yet. I don't know. So yeah, dudes are upset. Zach expresses to Kata that he didn't appreciate her wrapping her legs around him when the bombshell was going around, yada yada. It was like, okay, I understand. Then he was talking about how he was closed off. I'm like, closed off? It's a little too early for that. Pump the brakes, beans and toast, dude. It's a little too early for that. I don't know how stuff work in the UK, but in the US, at least I would think we do it a little slower. Slow down. Pump the brakes. Um, and then Gabriel, he went into soul ties with the soul, and then immediately starts kissing her. And it's the fact that he's trying to be sneaky about it. I'm like, oh, he ain't ish, bro. He's not ish. He's not ish. And it's like he keeps telling the girls, like, or people in general, everybody but Bea, that he wants to, if he's going to be in his house, he wants to be with somebody that he really wants to be with, and he wants to be with somebody out of his comfort zone. So I'm like, okay, so you don't want Bea, so you're telling everybody but Bea. Wasn't rocking with that. Gabriel brought Soul up to Soul Ties and immediately started kissing her. He took Jen to, where is it, Speakeasy or something? Immediately started kissing her. Gabriel has nothing to offer but his lips. He doesn't talk long. He just instantly gets into kissing. So we know this about him. So we're not going to waste time on Gabriel. And then Bea, his partner, is a manipulator. At first, I was like, but no. She is a manipulator. She literally is like, well, I think the connection that we have will make you feel comfortable to at least tell me if you are interested in speaking with someone else. Just ask him. You're a manipulator. Like, I'm just like, yeah, she's a manipulator. And then Sincere pulls Soul for a chat. Okay. They go to, I forgot, say less area, whatever. And they start talking, they start giggling. She starts touching his hand. Next thing you know, she says, yeah, I want to kiss you more. And he said, I really want to kiss you more. And she was just like, oh, when? And he's like, you want to do it right now? And they just started making out. And that was a passionate kiss. And that man was giddy. I said, at first, I was like, okay, look at him. He's stepping outside of his box. But later on in the episode, I'm looking at his sideways again, like disingenuous. And then of course, while every time Sincere goes and chats with Soul or anybody like else, you can see it. You can see the gears grinding in Mel's brain. Like she's trying to contain herself, but she really wants to crash out. Like, Mel, that's the thing about you. Like, granted, Sincere, he ain't ish. He's wrong too. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. And then when your other partner tries to go get a bite of their cake to eat. Now you have an issue. Now you have a problem. Like, come on, let's be fair. Call a spade a spade. And then I know Sincere did end up telling Anaya that, oh yeah, Casey did say that he did find the bombshell so attractive. And he did say that she looked like his ex. I know he said that, the pixie cut was the only thing that was different, but I know he said that she did like his ex. And he was just like, don't tell him that I told you that. Though, don't say that that came from me. I just keep that in the back of your mind. And she's like, oh, okay. Just for her to let it eat her up. And she ends up telling Casey about it and cries. And of course, Casey was mature with the way he handled it. And he comforted her and told her, like, look, like, yes, she's attractive, yada, 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 but, I enjoy my connection with you. I'm not going to throw that away, yada, yada, yada. Comforted her. She was like a baby in his lap, yada, yada, yada. Another thing, Anaya, I think you're messy. I think that you cannot be trusted with certain conversations. For some reason, everything does come back to you, but you always bring everything back to everybody else. And I just don't like the way that you do it at all. I think you can move around a little bit better with that, but I don't know. One thing I just got from this episode was double standards. I just didn't like the double standards at all. I feel like it wasn't fair to the men. I feel like they have feelings and emotions too. And I feel like the women were giving the other women a lot of slack for the stuff that they would do. But when the men would do like an ounce of what they did, it's like they're penalized. Like that's just not fair at all. Um, and then Kenzie and Caleb finally get to talk at the end of the day. They're in soul ties. Their conversation looks natural. It looks innocent. Um, it was just giving boring. Like I'm not gonna lie, they're more of each other's speed for sure. But like I didn't get like any like fires or flames. Like it just looked like a very regular vanilla couple, to be honest, to me, in my opinion. But Kenzie knows how to get comfortable real fast. That's one thing I can say. The way she was just playing his hair, I was like, oh, you get comfortable real fast. Wow. And then of course Soul comes and pulls Sincere for another chat. And they go up to the speakeasy. They're in there, they're chatting it up, and he kind of tells her that he's interested in pursuing her more, hanging out with her more. He enjoys talking to her. As soon as like they got upstairs, she was asking him like, "Yeah, how are you doing? How are you feeling?" He was just like, "Better now." What do you mean better now? He was just with Mel, by the way. What do you mean better now? Then they're in the speakeasy, and then they're like, talking and yeah, looking at each other. And I ain't gonna lie, so she was just looking good from every angle, child. The confidence, the body, the skin, the outfit, the style, everything just ate like tens, tens, tens. I was just like, yes, girl, you are taking it, okay. Next thing you know, they start kissing. While they start kissing, you see Mel making her way upstairs. I was just like, oh Lord. Melanie comes in, and immediately when she comes in, Soul gets up and she walks out, looking suspicious as ever. And then it's just awkward between Melanie and Sincere. Then they leave the speakeasy and they start talking, and Melanie gets straight to it. Were y'all kissing in the speakeasy? He told her, yeah, we did kiss, but it was nothing serious. It was nothing. I'm like, Sincere, don't piss me off. Oh my gosh, don't piss me off. And then she was just like, what? So like, who initiated it? He's like, she did. And she was just like, so, and you were just like, sure. And he was just like, yeah, like, just why not? But it was nothing serious. Like, you know, and then Melanie gets into her feelings, talking about something like, I really want to explore this connection with you. Like, I effed up. I realized that I effed up bad today, da, da, da. And then he starts saying that he really wants to be with her too. And this is that and the third. And, pretty much insinuating that that kiss and everything meant nothing, and that what he really wants is Melanie, and to, not throw away their connection. I'm like, that's not the message that you were sending, Soul. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, Sincere, you're a liar. You're done. I'm done. Whatever happens to you next, you deserve it. But just know, well, the website, or not the website, the app dang near crashed, so I wasn't able to vote. But I would have voted for you to be with Soul, because at this point, I don't even care about your feelings. I just care about my entertainment. And since you don't know what to do, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And I'm going to choose what I want to see on my TV screen. So at this point, whoop-de-doo. Because what are you doing? You don't even know what you want. Get it together. Wake up. Like, huh? You're a liar. Like, I don't even feel right calling you Sincere. Liar. Your name is Liar. Liar. So, child, and then Anaya, you're a delusional friend. Call your friend out. When they were talking about how, like, oh, they don't know about Sincere and Mel's connection anymore, she was the only one talking about something. I think they're gonna work it out. I think it's gonna be fine. I'm like, you're delusional. Wake up. Just like you're delusional about what you got going on right now with Casey. I don't know. But she's being delusional and it's pissing me off. All I know is I hope whoever I wanted to vote for ends up coupling up. Okay. So I would like for Kenzie to be with Caleb, Soul to be with Sincere. I don't care who Jen ends up with. I just hope Gabriel goes home. I need Soul to be with Sincere, and I need Kenzie to be with what's his name, Caleb. So that's it for this review. This episode it was pretty cool. I'm just waiting to see what Thursday's episode is going to be looking like. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. If you want to go ahead, just leave me a subscribe. Come on, join the club, king or queen. Come on. Like, comment, and share it with a friend. And I will see you guys in the next video.